Hello everybody, today I'm going to be reading multi-character ex-listener one-shots, When They Meet Your Bad Ex, written by Asha ASMR. Quick heads up, this video contains a lot of triggering things, such as swearing, mention of physical and mental abuse, stalking, sexual abuse and assault, injuries and threats. So please, if any of this triggers you, leave and maybe watch one of my other videos. Enjoy! Hawks. Hawks knew that your past relationship wasn't a good one. The guy you dated was flaky and toxic, and you broke it off with him after 2 years of dating. You met Hawks on a hero mission and he helped you be more comfortable with relationships. He was an amazing boyfriend, loved coming over to your agency and scaring you when you walked into your office, bringing you food, flowers and drinks, and being supportive and loving. Everything was amazing. He knew about your ex and didn't mind that until he met the guy. Endeavour had called a hero meeting due to the crime rate increasing over the last few months. There are a lot of pros there, a lot you recognised and knew, but some were on the lower ranks and you didn't recognise. You were sitting in the back of the room, and Hawks was late, as usual, which Endeavour did not look happy about. While waiting for Hawks, you heard a familiar voice calling you. You couldn't quite put your finger on how you recognised it, until you came face to face with your ex. You froze for a minute, looking like a deer in headlights. "Hey Yin, long time no see," he said with a smirk. You immediately got shivers down your spine and coldly answered, "Yeah, not long enough in my book." You stood up to walk away from him, forgetting the quirk he had. He could teleport any object or person that he touched. You felt him grab your arm and you were outside in the hallway. "Hey, you can't use your quirk here," you yelled, scolding him. "What's your problem?" he asked, still holding onto your wrist. You snatched your wrist away from him and scoffed. "You answered, still hoping he would get the hint, but he wasn't the brightest. You learned that from dating him. "Come on, Yin, I just want to talk." "I don't." You cut him off, which really seemed to push him over the edge, and he snapped. "Stop being a bitch. I just want to talk. God, no wonder why I didn't like our relationship. All you do is yell and get upset when I do nothing. You're so dumb, and for what?" He was cut off once again by someone coughing. You both turned your head to see Hawks, standing there with his head down looking at the ground, not being able to see his eyes. "Huh? Hawks, what are you doing out here? Shouldn't you be inside?" Your ex questioned, completely clueless. You pushed past your ex, making a beeline for Hawks, when you were pulled back. Before you could react, a big wing wrapped around you and your ex went flying, crashing into the wall beside him. You look up to see Hawks staring at him. Then he looks down at you and smiles. "I'm guessing that's him," Hawks says, smirking. Sounds like he already knew the answer. You laughed. "Yeah." Hawks looked over to your ex again and saw he was looking at both of you. With a grin on his face, Hawks grabbed your waist, gently pulling you in for a kiss. You melted into his embrace for a second, then pulled away. Grabbing your hand, you two walked past your ex, who looked like a confused mess on the floor. Hawks blocking his view of you with his wings. Darby. You and Darby joined the league together. You were already dating at the time, but Darby knew about your idiot ex you had, who was also a villain in the same area. As you described him, Darby saw him as a creep who would stalk and scare you whenever he could. When you broke up with him, getting with Darby didn't really make anything go away. In fact, it made it worse. He'd send you notes. Every time you would get a note, you would show Darby, and every time he would get more and more pissed, until the day he finally met the bastard. You and Darby were doing watch. You liked doing it together because it was the only time Shigaraki wasn't up your ass about your relationship. You were standing on the roof, keeping watch mainly, while Darby had his arms wrapped around your waist and his face pushed into the crease of your neck, every now and again placing small little kisses on your neck. You smiled as he placed another kiss when you saw something in the corner of your eye. It was a man who looked about 5'11", 106 pounds and had long black hair. You squinted your eyes and noticed he was going to the front of your base and slipped a note into it. Your heart sunk to your feet. You're not scared of most people, but your ex really made your skin crawl. Darby felt you tense up and looked where you were looking, to the man who was now peeking through the windows of your room. Darby's hands immediately started heating up, and he let go of you so he didn't hurt you, as you both observed him. Your ex realized you weren't there, looking frustrated. He turned and ran away into the alleyway. You jumped down from the building, and Darby stayed to keep watch on you from above, mainly because if you both left, Shigaraki wouldn't let you live it down. You go down to the door of the bar and saw the note half in, half out. You picked it up and opened it, reading the contents that were inside. You froze. "And my love, if only it was me kissing your neck. Don't worry, it will be soon." You realized in that moment he was watching you and Darby, and before you could go back, you felt yourself get grabbed by your neck and your mouth covered. You were about to hit the person when a blast of blue flame came and hit the person in the face. You ducked down out of the way of the heat as you heard screaming. You felt hot hands grab you and hold you. You opened your eyes and sighed in relief. It was Darby. He looked pissed. You looked over to the guy that grabbed you and saw your ex, now who had a huge burn mark on the left side of his face. You cringed at the sight. "This shit has been happening for too long. It's really starting to piss me off." Darby sneered at your ex, still holding you close. Your ex looked up, tears falling from the good side of his face, as Darby's eyes narrowed. "Get the fuck out of here before I do the other side." Your ex scrambled to his feet, still whimpering and letting out screams as he ran clumsily away. Darby shut his eyes and wrapped another arm around you, pulling into a hug. "I've wanted to do that for so long," he whispers. Toga. Toga and you have known each other for years. You were in the same high school and helped her with everything that happened, soon running away together. But before that, you had a boyfriend who was very abusive and rude towards you, and Toga had witnessed a few times where he had hurt you, and soon convinced you to run away with her. Soon after that, you two became partners and joined love. Everything was good when you heard a knock on the door of the bar. You and Toga were alone at the bar, sitting on the couch. Toga's legs were over yours as you drew with your fingers on them. Toga was humming a song, and you soon heard a knock. You two immediately pricked up and looked at the door, then at each other with confused expressions. "Is anyone supposed to be here?" you asked Toga, thinking maybe Shigaraki didn't tell you. "Nope," Shig said. That made you concerned. You heard another knock. You moved Toga's legs off of you and stood up, heading to the door. Toga kept an eye on you. You opened the door, quite annoyed, when you froze. Toga saw this and asked, "Who is it?" You stepped back and went to slam the door when it was stopped. Toga stood up at your panic and stopped in her tracks when she heard an all too familiar voice. "Yin, I finally found you." Anger started bubbling up in Toga as she started to remember all the times she saw you get hurt by this guy. "Piss off," you said coldly. The door opened once again, you standing face to face with the person you never wanted to see again. "Excuse you?" Your ex screamed in your face. "Well, that didn't take long," you thought to yourself. He always had a bad temper, so you weren't really surprised. Toga started walking towards you when she heard the yell, wrapping her arms around your waist and peeking her head over your shoulder, with a look of disgust painted on her face. "What the?" your ex commented when seeing the blonde girl. "Oh, it's a little creep. Why the hell are you holding them like that? What are you gonna do? Kill them?" Your ex laughed as you snapped, slapping him across the face, activating your quirk while doing so, making him get tangled up in roots that came protruding from your hands. "Do not talk about my girlfriend like that," you said with a protective tone. Toga giggles at how your ex is tied up, planting a kiss on your cheek and walking up to him. "Get the hell away from me!" he yelled at Toga before he felt a sharp pain through his whole body. "I love blood. It's pretty, but my partner doesn't need it. They're gorgeous," you says, blushing and smiling at your ex. "So shut up, you piece of shit." Toga's voice got more aggressive as she plunged the knife into his chest. "Your turn, my love." You gave her a smile as she skipped on next to you. You looked at the pathetic display your ex was showing and tightened your roots around him, making him grunt. Shutting your eyes, you opened the ground, and all you heard was your ex pleading with you as you made the ground swallow him. You opened your eyes and was caught off guard by a kiss from Toga. You smiled and kissed her back as she grabbed your hand and walked you back inside to continue cuddling. Hiroshima, featuring Barcago. Hiroshima and you have been dating for 6 months. You were friends before becoming partners, and Hiroshima knew your ex when you were together. And you convinced Hiroshima to give him a job at his agency, and he did. But he didn't know how he was talking to you behind closed doors, until you broke up and told Kiri. And now Kiri wants to have some words with him the next time he sees him. You were sitting in Hirošima's office waiting for him to get back from a mission. You had a key to his office and would wait for him most afternoons when you got back from work, to go home together. As you were sitting, you heard the doorknob being moved and looked up thinking it was Hiroshima. You made eye contact with the person. It was your ex. You straight away put your guard up. He looked surprised to see you, then looked around, seeming to be looking if anyone else was in there. He shuts the door, then you speak. Get out. You can't be in here. You say with an assertive tone. Your ex looks at you and walks over to the desk. I said get out. You tried to tell him again when he came face to face with you. I'm sorry, Yin, he said. For everything I did. I love you. No, don't. Not that. I don't like you. I'm with Hiroshima now. Leave. You snap back. His once sorry look in his eyes turned to annoyance. I said I was sorry. I've changed, okay? Your ex started to raise his voice at you. What does Hiroshima have that I don't? Oh, that's right. Money, because you're a gold digger. Don't. You snap back. You already had people saying Hiroshima could do better than you. But someone saying you were using him is crossing the line. Don't what? Tell the truth? Come on, you've always been useless. Not being able to do anything. You clung to him like a lost puppy. And you're doing the same with Hiroshima. You gripped your pants as tears started to prick the corner of your eyes. You didn't want to go through this again. You wanted to fight back, but you were scared. Your ex kept saying horrible things when you both heard a voice that made you let out a breath you didn't even know you were holding. Babe? Hiroshima was standing at the door looking concerned as your ex pushed away from the desk. Ah, sir, I was just talking with them. As a small whimper escaped your lips, and all hell broke loose. Hiroshima's eyes shot wide and pushed past your ex, making him tumble. Leaning over the desk, Hiroshima took your face in his hands to see a sight that made his blood boil. You were crying. Your eyes were red with tears falling while you tried to stop them. Hiroshima walked around the table where you were and hugged you. You nuzzled your face into his bare chest due to his hero costume. Your ex tried to make his way out, but he was stopped. Did you do this? Hiroshima's voice sounded angry, pissed even. You've never heard him that mad. You moved your head to look at your ex, Hiroshima's arms still gently stroking your hair while staring daggers into your ex's head. Your ex turned around slowly. No, they were upset when I came in here. Liar. You mumbled under your breath, just loud enough for Hiroshima to hear. Oh? Well, they say differently, and excuse me if I believe my partner and not you. Your ex was in a corner. He knew he couldn't get away with it. So as to not get the wrath of Hiroshima, he made a run for it, opening the door, but before he even took 2 steps outside, he was hit back, falling to the ground. Your ex rubbed his jaw where he was hit, and looks up. Shit. In front of him is Pro Hero Dynamite. Where do you think you're going? Bakugo says with a scowl. Your eyes widen, and you look up at Kiri, who was already looking down at you while smiling. I wanted to surprise you with a night out and some friends. He puts your face in his hands again and wipes away your tears. Are you comfortable with going? You smile, immediately getting excited. Yeah? You say, getting up. Can we go? We'll get some sidekick to get rid of this one, Bakugo said with a huff while stomping away. Yeah, alright, come on babe. Hiroshima walked you out with Barcago in front and shut the door on your ex. Barcago. You and Barcago just started dating 2 months ago. It was shortly after you broke up with your toxic ex who had a bad habit of guilt-tripping you for sex. Barcago made you see how bad it was and you basically left your ex for him. And Barcago swore if he ever tried to lay his hands on you again, he wouldn't have hands. You and Barcago worked together with a conjoined agency. Many people come in and out, but there was one visitor you never wanted to see on a busy day. Your ex. You were tired, angry, and just wanted to go to your office and sit. But as you were walking into the agency, through the back door to avoid fans in your hero costume, you heard a not-so-pleasant voice. Yin, hey, long time no see. Don't you look amazing? You turn to see your ex. He looks you up and down and you only reply with, no. You tried to walk, but he grabs you and pushes you against a wall. You let out a shriek and tried to do something when he used his quirk on you. You can freeze whatever he touches. That's how he got away with using you as much as he did. You realized you couldn't move or talk and started panicking, not knowing what to do, and flashbacks of all the times he hurt you come back. You can't think. You can't scream. You're sinking. You're gonna get hurt. You can't do anything. Useless. Please. No. Babe? You hear a voice and open your eyes to see just the ash blonde you were praying would come. He looked confused and tired. Your ex immediately gets off of you and moves. You fall to the ground. Bakugo, seeing this, runs to you, still obviously tired from the mission he did. Hey! What happened, babe? Your breathing was shallow and short, and you were hyperventilating. Tears threatened to leave your eyes. You looked up at Bakugo with a pitiful look in your eyes. Bakugo's eyes widened, then they turned to anger. He standed up, patting you on the head as if saying everything was going to be okay. He turns to the man, not knowing right away it was your ex until they made eye contact. You! Bakugo screamed, letting off small explosions in his hands. He hadn't done that since high school, so you were surprised with how upset he actually was. Your ex didn't say anything. He just had a look of horror on his face. Bakugo stormed up to him, grabbing him by his shirt. Your ex tried to touch Bakugo to freeze him, but Bakugo let off an explosion on the hand that was holding his shirt, making him stop and wince in pain of the heat. You bastard! How dare you touch them! Bakugo kneed him in the stomach and dropped him, kneeling down to his level. You never touch them again. You don't look at them. I don't even want you breathing the same goddamn air as them, you perverted bastard. Bakugo set a call to Hiroshima to come pick your ex up and bring him to the police station. Your ex was still on the floor in pain as Bakugo walked over to you and pulled you into a hug, stroking your hair and shushing you as you started to weep. He then softly picked you up and walked you to your office. Tokoyami, featuring Mina. You and Tokoyami met after your toxic relationship. You were distant and had many walls Tokoyami had to climb, but he did, and you started dating. You told him about your toxic relationship before and the PTSD you had from it. And he was beyond supportive, telling you you'd never have to see him again, and if you did, Tokoyami would handle it. You were going to visit Tokoyami. He had just finished a mission and said he was at Mina's agency since he teamed up with her for it. You got to the agency and spotted him, walking up to him, giving a kiss on the cheek as Mina called you both over. Hey Yin, I wanted you to meet my best sidekick. You smiled at Mina's excitement and then looked behind her, and your heart dropped. Your face paled as you took a step back from the sidekick, who was none other than your ex. You had tried so hard to forget about. Both Mina and Tokoyami noticed your discomfort. Are you okay, Yin? Mina asked, concern in her tone. Your ex made eye contact and immediately recognized you. Yin? Your ex yelled. You flinched at his sudden loudness. Please do not yell. They don't like loud noises. Tokoyami said to your ex, not knowing who he was or why you were acting like that. Oh, I guess that's my fault, huh? your ex said, with a laugh. Tokoyami and Mina both looked at each other, confused. What do you mean? Mina asked, now facing her sidekick. Oh, me and Yin used to date, but we ended it pretty rocky. Tokoyami froze and stepped in front of you, blocking you so you didn't have to see him. What's your name? Tokoyami asked, looking defensive. Mina was concerned at his sudden protectiveness. It's X's name. Tokoyami grabbed your hand and pulled you into his back. You felt his warmth and melted into him, nuzzling your face into him. Mina, I want him to leave, Tokoyami said, turning his focus on a very confused Mina. What? Why? What happened between them? Like I said, we ended it very rocky. Treated them horribly. Tokoyami snapped back. You felt something touch your cheek and you turned your head to see Dark Shadow next to you, shielding you from your ex's view more. What? Mina said, looking to her sidekick. She then turned to Tokoyami and walked over, leaning over the side that wasn't covered. Yin, did he really? Mina asked, with a slight hint of guilt in her voice. He would hit me, you said sheepishly, face still shoved into Tokoyami's back. Mina went silent, turning to her ex. Looks like I don't have a sidekick anymore, Mina said coldly, while giving your ex a death glare. I'm not going to have someone on my team who is or was abusive. You can leave. What? Your ex butted in. Can't you see they're lying? And even if I did, I would have had a good reason. Tokoyami snapped at that moment, sending Dark Shadow, who slammed into your ex, making him crash into the ground. Leave, before I'm the one to attack. Tokoyami said to your ex, with his red eyes glaring daggers into him. Your ex stumbled to get up and ran out the agency, and Tokoyami turned to face you and pulled you into a hug. Let's go home. I'll make your favorite.